Hey guys, welcome to our math lesson for today. Let's go ahead and let's get started by reading our learning target. I can mentally count forward and backwards within 1,000 by ones, fives, tens, and 100s. Let's look at some words that we know and some things that we need to practice with or get to know better. So we know mentally. Where do things happen mentally at? In our minds, okay? It also mentally means automatic. So if you can do it mentally, you can do it automatically very quickly. Now we know what count means, right? Yeah, counting is the number of objects, finding out how many we have. Now we know we can count forward and we can count backwards, right? So when we count forward, what happens with our numbers? They get bigger, don't they? When we count backwards, what happens to our numbers? They get smaller. Okay? Now, we have learned or talked about within 1,000, haven't we? You gave me some examples of numbers within 1,000 yesterday. You said the number 6 was within 1,000. The number 982 was within 1,000. The number 38 was within 1,000. Now, we know that we can count by ones, fives, tens, and hundreds. Remember, this is called skip counting. So we can skip count by fives, tens, and 100s. I added in counting by ones there. That's not part of skip counting, but I think it's important for us to be able to count by ones within 1,000 because then that also helps us to develop that number sense of the numbers so that we can find those patterns, okay? All right, now let's go ahead. Today we're going to be within 200, and we're going to skip count by 6. I'm sorry, we're going to start at 6 and skip count by 10s. Now, I know this is probably hard for you to see. If you have a hundreds chart at home that you have within your virtual toolkit, then you may get that out and you may use this. So we're going to skip count by tens. So I want you to be thinking which place value changes when we're counting by tens. Our tens place changes, doesn't it? So when we're at 6 and we add 10 more, we're at 16. 16, add 10 more, 26. 26, add 10 more is what? 36. 36, add 10 more, 46. 46, add 10 more, 56. So I want you to look at what we have so far. 6, 16, 26, 36, 46, 56. What's the same with these numbers? They all have a 6 in the ones place, don't they? What's different about these numbers? Their tens place changes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It shows one more group of 10 each time. Just like if we were counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? 10. Our tens place changes like that because we're adding 1 each time. So what is 10 more than 56? 66. All right, what's 10 more than 116? 126. Great job. So if we are counting, or we're starting with 6 and we're counting by tens, let's look at the number 556. What would 10 more than 556 be? All right, remember when we're counting by tens, our tens place changes. So we would have 566, right? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at counting by hundreds, okay? So when we are counting by hundreds, let's start with the number 186. 186. We're going to count by hundreds. So which place is going to change in our number? Our ones, our tens place, or our hundreds place? Our hundreds place is going to change because remember we're adding 100 more. So what's 100 more than 186? 286. What's 100 more than 286? 386. What's 100 more than 386? 486. 100 more. 586. 100 more. 686. 100 more. 786. 100 more. 886. And last one, 100 more. 986. So if you look, our tens and our ones stayed the same. They all have 86, but our hundreds counted up by one group of 100 each time, didn't it? All right, now let's go ahead and let's look at our lesson for today. We are in our Ready Math Journal, Volume 2. We are on page 377. 377. All right, we're going to look at the try it question, okay? This is where you try it on your own, and then as we go through the lesson, we build on that knowledge, okay? A class has 432 sheets of paper. They get 100 more for an art project. How many sheets of paper do they have now? I want you to retell this problem in your own words. All right? So we know that the class has 432 pieces of paper, but somebody gives them 100 more for an art project, don't they? Let's read it again, this time seeing what it is that our question is asking us. A class has 432 sheets of paper. They get 100 more for an art project. How many sheets of paper do they have now? What's our question here? How many sheets of paper do they have now? Let's go back and see what information is important for us to answer that question. How many sheets of paper do they have now? All right, let's read it. A class has 432 sheets of paper. They get 100 more for an art project. How many sheets of paper do they have now? Well, it's important to know how many they started with. How many did they start with? 432. What does it tell us that happens? They get 100 more, right? So we're looking for 100 more than what they started with. So how many sheets of paper does the class have at the beginning? 432. How many sheets of paper does the class get? 100. So now you should be able to answer the question, how many sheets of paper do they have now? All right, go ahead and pause the video and solve. How many pieces of paper do they have now? They have 532 pieces of paper. Remember, we have to answer that question, so we have to put the unit. So how many sheets of paper do they have now? They have 532 pieces of paper. Now, let's go ahead and let's look at some ways that we could have modeled this in order to help us to be able to do this mentally, because you might not be able to do it mentally yet, but we're going to work on some strategies to help you do that mentally, okay? So let's look at page 378. You might have chosen to draw a picture. If you draw a picture of 432, you think about how many hundreds are in the number. How many hundreds are in 432? There are 4 hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many tens are there? 3. And then there are 2 ones. Now, if we add 100 to 400, that makes it 5 hundreds We didn't add any 10s, so there's still 3 10s. We didn't add any 1s, so there are still 2 1s. So this picture shows 5 hundreds, 3 10s, and 2 1s, which is 532. You could have also written it in a model. Okay, you could have written an equation, and then you could have broken it down by place value, right? So 432 and 100 more is 432 plus 100. You know that 4 plus 1 equals 5, right? So 400 plus 100 equals 500. Then you just need to add on your 10s and 1s to have your total of 532. All right, now we're going to move over to the next page, okay? Let's look at page 379. 379. So it wants us to look at the model it. The model it is the one where they drew the base 10 blocks. How is adding hundreds like adding ones? How is adding hundreds like adding ones? I want you to answer that question. Pause the video and answer, and then you may unpause. All right, so adding hundreds is like adding ones, but you just have to add on that value, right? So you can look at that place and add that place, but then you have to think about the value, right? So adding 4 ones plus 1 1 equals 5 ones. Adding 400s plus 100 equals 500. All right, and then it wants us to answer that question. How many sheets of paper does the class have now? 532. Remember, we have to put our unit pieces of paper. All right, it wants us to look back up here at number 1. How would adding and subtracting 10s be like adding and subtracting 1s? All right, I want you to pause the video and answer that question. When you're done, you may unpause.
Good morning.
So, how would adding and subtracting 10s be like adding and subtracting 1s? Well, we know that when we're adding, things are getting larger or they're increasing, right? So adding increases the number. If we're adding 10s, then it's going to be increasing by 10. All right, so if we're subtracting, then we're decreasing, right? If we are subtracting 10, then we are decreasing by 10. Okay? All right. Now, number 4 is the reflect question, where you think about how you best are able to add and subtract by 10 and 100. Do you like a model? Do you like a picture? How do you best like adding and subtracting by 10 and 100? Okay? All right, go ahead and pause the video and answer question number 4. All right, now let's go ahead and let's turn over to page 380. Page 380. We're going to work through some problems together, okay? All right, so we are on page number 380. All right, let's look at number 5. Number 5. All right, so number 5 says a store has 893 granola bars. It sells 100 bars. How many granola bars does the store have now? So I want you to retell this in your own words. All right, so we know that the store has some granola bars, and then they sell some granola bars. So if the store sells them, does the store have them anymore? No, right? They're giving those, or someone is buying and taking those. Let's see what our question is asking us. A store has 893 granola bars. It sells 100 bars. How many granola bars does the store have now? We want to know how many granola bars that the store has now. Let's see what information is important. A store has 893 granola bars. It sells 100 bars. How many granola bars does the store have now? So we know how many the store started with, right? How many did they start with? 893, and then they sell 100. So if we have 893 and we sell 100, that means we're going to take that 100 away. So our total is going to decrease by 100, okay? This is where you might choose to use a picture. This is where you might choose to use a model, okay? So I'm going to pull out my 100 here because I know that I'm taking away 0 10s and 0 1s. So I'm going to look at 800, take away 100. What's 100 less than 800? Yes, 700. So at the end, the store will have 793 granola bars. Okay? Great job, guys. Let's do number 6. All right, I want you to go ahead and pause, and I want you to do number 6, A and B. When you're done, then you may unpause the video to check. All right, so let's look. 539 plus 10. What digit in our number is going to change? Our tens place by how much? One group of 10. So 539 plus 10 is 549. 704 plus 100. Which digit's going to change? Our hundreds place by 100. So 700 plus 100 is 800. So 704 plus 100 is 804. All right, 699 plus 10. Now here, let's look at our tens place. We have 9 tens. What happens when we add another 10 to 9 tens? We have 10 tens, right? 10 tens makes another group of 100. So here our hundreds place is going to go up by 100. We will have 0 tens, and then we'll have 9 nines. So 699 plus 10 is 709. All right, now let's check B. 675 minus 100. We're going to get smaller by 100. So 600 take away 100 is 500. So 675 minus 100 is 575. Okay? 226 minus 100. So if we look, our hundreds place is changing. 200 take away 100 is 100. So 226 minus 100 is 126. All right, 491 minus 10. Our tens place is changing. So if we have 9 tens and we take away 1 10, how many tens do we have? 8 tens. So 491 take away 10 is 481. Great job, guys. All right, now I want you to go ahead and do number 7. When you're done with number 7, you may unpause the video to check. All right, 288 take away 10. Which digit's going to change? Our tens place here. So if we have 8 tens and we take away one group of 10, we will have 278. So B is the correct answer. All right, guys, I want us to reflect back on our learning target. I can mentally count forward and backwards within 1,000 by ones, fives, tens, and 100s. Remember that skip counting. Today we practice skip counting by tens and by 100s, forwards and backwards. So I want you to rate how you feel you are doing with our learning target, okay? Great job today, guys. Keep up that hard work.